Hey, what is going on, crypto people? It is the Crypto Siege with another day in the life, in the freaking crazy life that is the digital asset space. Good morning. Happy Saturday to each and every one of you. Got some things cleared up. Excellent Twitter spaces with Bob Way and David Schwartz. Cleared up some stuff. I'm going to share some more about that. Got some new information on the whole Flare grant program that we talked about in the court order that was submitted by Kirkland and Ellis, which is Celsius Networks law firm, in the Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So we're going to go over that. Some stuff got cleared up. Shout out to Crypto Eddie, who shared a little bit of an interview that she did. I guess she was part of a bigger group that was part of an interview, and she shared some. So with Hugo, who kind of shed some light on this whole thing, because I was trying to get the whole Flare grant program thing, and I guess I should have known because it's actually on their website what that is all about. Shout out to my guy Deep Mind, who just brought the truth of the matter to that whole Flare grant thing, Flare grant program and Celsius Network. It is an eye opener for sure. It is looking like it's going to be a pass on it, like a go. It's going to be a go. We'll see, because you never know what can happen in a court, especially a Chapter 11 court where you got state regulators and the whole like. So you never know what can happen there. But we're going to get into that. We'll cover that as well. So I am considering, you guys can probably see the tripod behind me here. I am very strongly considering doing more presenting in a different format, presenting as opposed to just kind of recording videos. I'm really strongly considering doing that. What I mean by presenting is just doing more stuff from a different kind of tape, right? Presenting more show than just kind of sharing on a laptop. I enjoy that, so I'm looking to do that. But also the really big thing, what I'm looking to do is just cover more content as a whole, cover more traditional finance, cover more of the global economic picture, if you will, and share that with the community. What is ChatGPT and OpenAI? What are dividend-paying cash value policies? What is the global macro picture? Are we doing more with gold and silver? So looking to do more of that, and probably will do it right there from that tripod. So excited about that. It'll be a relatively dull background, but it's about the content, right? Not about the background. So just a heads up on that. Listen, we're going to go over the market because the market is doing what the market does. I think I'm about to exit my Shiba Inu position. All profit. I think I'm going to exit that and really go into Flare. What do you guys think? Do you think I should exit Shiba Inu? Now, that's all profit. This is all profit. Took my money out ways ago. Ways ago. What do you think? And the Flare, I think it's a no-brainer, right? Because the total circulating supply for Shiba, brutal. So in any case, I think I'll take advantage of the market the next few days, or the last few days, and maybe a couple of days wait see if it gets up to 21.25 and then exit. We'll see, because I'm told by my guy that there's not a necessity to stress over repositioning my 15% that I may or may not get from Celsius Network. So there that is. Let's go over the market. Yeah, I was looking at Shiba Inu, missed out on 1100, missed out on that, but it's at 1027. We'll see how that goes. Let's take a look at the total cryptocurrency market cap, because the market is just doing what it does. So let's see what CoinGecko has. Shout out to CoinGecko and people at CoinGecko, man. They do an absolutely awesome job with their site and with their app. I'm a big fan of CoinGecko.com. Big fan. All right. Stay tuned for the videos with my sponsor. I will be doing that hopefully sometime tomorrow, sharing the first one. Looking forward to doing that and sharing with the community. Look at this, my guys. The total cryptocurrency market cap is over $1 trillion. It's over $1 trillion. 1.01 trillion. The Bitcoin dominance, where is that? What's going on here? Where is my Bitcoin dominance? Is this? Hold on a second. Oh, there it is. Bitcoin dominance is at 39.4%. 39.4%. What in the wide world? Bitcoin is trading at $20,693. It's up 22% on the 7-day. Shout out to the swing traders in the space. I hope you're part of that new 1%. For sure, we need a new 1%. We need a new 1%. Ethereum is at $1,528. Wow. It's up 20% on the 7-day. BNB token is at $302, up 16.5% on the 7-day. And XRP is at 39 cents, trading at 13.5%. Guess what I did 3 or 4 days ago? I discovered some XRP that I didn't realize that I had on a wallet back from yesteryear. Yeah, it was over 550 XRP that I totally forgot about that I had. Yeah, totally forgot about it. But I discovered it. Shout out to the creator for letting me find that thing. So look at all these double figure gains on the 7-day. Cardano up 25% on the 7-day at 34 cents. Freaking Dogecoin's 18%. It is Dogecoin, by the way. Some people think it's doggy coin, but it is Dogecoin, respectfully. Trading at 8 cents, up 18.5% on the 7-day. Matic token is up 22.7% on the 7-day, trading at 98 cents. Man, I was using Matic, man, the other day. I'm telling you, it just screams. It's inexpensive. I was using Avalanche the other day. It just screams it's inexpensive. And I thought I saw when I was using Coinbase, in terms of fees, that Matic was less expensive than Avalanche. No, I think Avalanche was less expensive than Matic for the transactions that I wanted to do. And it was 1 cent versus 9 cents, interestingly enough, but both extremely cheaper. It was over $1 for the same transaction. Oh, almost $2 for the same transaction on the Ethereum blockchain. Think about that. $2 to 9 cents, $2 to a penny. And a lot of people think that the XRP ledger isn't valuable and that the asset that moves everything, the asset that is the elixir, if you will, to the XRP ledger isn't valuable. When that thing at all times, moves anything of value in 3 to 5 seconds for a fraction of a penny. And yet there are people right now buying Bitcoin and buying Ethereum and have no problem with it. This Bitcoin that at one time was $60,000, people were buying that. But lose their mind. People lose their mind on a 30,000 or 50,000 XRP, which moves anything, what helps to move anything of value in 3 to 5 seconds for a fraction of a penny. But they have no problem holding on to positions and buying into Bitcoin and Ethereum. I don't understand. It's beyond me. But anyway, I digress. Let's go on a little bit. So I looked on the Flare metrics, the portal.flare.network to see if the vote was up. The vote's not up as far as I can see. If you go to voting, no proposals found. So it ain't up yet as far as I can see. Anyway, it's not up as far as I can see. That's where I am there. It's not up as far as I can see. Let's see. Don't want to do that. What is this? Don't want to do that. I was checking out milesfranklin.com for some gold and silver. I'm going to check it out. Shout out to Zach Rector. I'm going to check this out, see what's up. See if I get some better pricing than what I'm accustomed to at AppMex. So we'll see. So I wanted to go over this. This is from Hugo, and I don't know in what order I should really go over this, but anyway, Hugo says, I believe the Flare Improvement Protocol is a major improvement on the existing plan. It is beneficial for the network, the ecosystem, and those that participate. It removes the risk of relying on exchanges, which is a major, we said that in the last stream last night or the night before. It has some potential negative effects for 2020 snapshot recipients. He says, detailed above. So networks like ecosystem benefits of the FIP01 incentivizes network participation and new ecosystem entrants. It shifts FLR to those that participate from those that don't. That is just about everything. Besides the, the passive income that we're all expecting and the major change to come onto this network. I mean, there's going to be major apps and or change to come onto this network. I still think that the XRP holder is ahead. I don't care about new people coming in. I think the XRP holder from that December 20 snapshot is ahead. Period, point blank, stop. That's what I believe. Pass or no pass. I think they're ahead. Shifts the flare to those that participate from those that don't. Reduces overall inflation. Reduces overall inflation. Incentivizes infrastructure providers. Safer, more decentralized network. Isn't that what we want? Don't we want to be early to a layer one, to a game-changing layer one with these kind of advantages to it? Don't we want to be early to that? Don't we want people, not just one community or in our chain? Don't we want multiple communities in our chains participating? And here we are early and the only community that have been benefited and blessed with an airdrop. Anyway, FIP01 benefits for 2020 snapshot participants. Removes the risk of reliance on exchanges which may fail. I agree 10,000%. I mean, look at Celsius Network. Look at the position that yours truly is in right now. And by the way, we're going to go over that FLARE grant program. Like that. Anyway, depending on participation, you may end up with more FLARE than expected under the 2020 snapshot. Some negatives. He's got to be fair, right? He says some negatives for 2020 snapshot participants. FLARE must be wrapped to receive full and final distribution. You got to wrap it. Got to hit a button that says wrap. That's it. It's like just wrap. You don't lose possession of it. It's not taken away. You're giving up no keys. You just hit wrap. Depending on participation, you may end up with less than expected under the 2020 snapshot. I like this guy. I like this Hugo guy. However, this may be mitigated by a healthier ecosystem overall. More people participating. Again, I just think that the XRP holder is ahead. For me, it doesn't matter if some new chain or new people, whatever these F assets, potential people might come in and they're buying up some stuff. They got more money than you. And they're buying up stuff. You were blessed with an airdrop. Your asset, if you're a fan of, it's not a question of the F asset potential. It's going to be an F asset. Not maybe, could, should be. What about all these people that, that right now they're not on slot for F asset capability, but yours is. What about all those people? You don't think they're getting FLARE tokens? You don't think they know the genius of this this layer one? They ain't got no F asset. They're not on the short list, in other words, for F asset potential and capability. And let me say that again, potential for revenue. They ain't on there. They're not on the short list. We are on the short list. So anyway, there it is. Now, if you don't believe me, just take a listen to that dude. And I got to tell you, the more I listen to Dave, is that the one I want? Well, yeah, I want this. Where is it? Yeah. The more I listen to David Schwartz, the more I'm encouraged, right? And so I can kind of take away the whole Matt thing, right? When I listen to David Schwartz, I can, it can rid me of some of the stench of demeaning and belittling and all of that stuff from the Matt guy, right? It can rid me of that, and I feel good. And I said I was done with Matt. I'm done with Matt. We went back and forth, and it wasn't mean. When we went back and forth, it was not mean at all. So By the way, I want to make sure I note that when he and I went back and forth, no me, no belittling, no whatever. I mean, kind of a little bit, yeah. But anyway, not really. Take a listen to David about this whole airdrop thing. Take a listen to David Schwartz, who can just he can just make you like he can just come across as like a genius without making you feel like you're the biggest idiot in the room. Take a listen.
Flare. Yes is better than no, and I don't feel like I should be voting on Flare based on the interests of that's just XRP holders. I know it feels bad that like, yeah, I should be trying to hold Flare to the what are perceived as promises, but having been in that position, like I want Flare to succeed. I want a healthy ecosystem, and I'm willing to set aside like the personal stuff, because I don't think, first of all, if I thought that it was like fraud and he was like trying to get the XRP people to support his project with the intention of like abandoning them at the first moment, I would just sell my Flare and like never touch the ecosystem again or something. You know, I mean, like I wouldn't try to make Flare or give more to XRP holders. That just doesn't feel like the right course to me. So I think I'm probably leaning towards voting yes, but it's not because I think the proposal is brilliant tokenomics. I think it's probably better than the tokenomics of voting no, because the tokenomics of voting no is essentially that XRP holders like can't get there'll be a constant dribble of tokens to people who may just be immediate dumpers because they're not interested in the ecosystem, and that's bad. One thing I learned with XRP is in the early days we thought lockups would be good. Like you would lock up someone's XRP so they can't sell it for 3 years. But then what happens is if 3 months later they're like, we don't want XRP, they just mark their calendar and on the 3-year date, they just dump it. And so what winds up happening is you have all this built-in future selling pressure. And it comes out to be a lot. There's a lot of this built-in future selling pressure, and it screws over the people who don't get any of that. Like they buy Flare with their hard-earned money, and then they get diluted by people who have no interest in the ecosystem. So putting on I want the Flare ecosystem to succeed and be healthy hat, I think yes is the better vote.
So, and anyway, he went on a little bit to say, that's of course if there's not an FIP 02 about the same thing and not an FIP 203 about the same thing, type of deal like that. And so I just wanted to hear that. If you really want to hear that without the madness that is the Crypto Sieges internet, you can check out my earlier video I did earlier this morning. And shout out to Zach Rector who recorded it. And because the Spaces wasn't recorded, he recorded it, and I shared that in my earlier video, gave Zach the credit for sharing that as well. So shout out to Zach for making that happen. So check out the video I did earlier if you want to listen to that part. It starts about 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and you can listen to the brilliance that is David Schwartz, or even better yet, listen to the whole 25-minute Twitter Spaces. Just great stuff between David Schwartz and Bob Way without making you feel, without making you feel like you're not as smart as them. So anyway, let me continue on here. What else did I want to share with you? Not that. I shared that. I want to really go over the Flare Grants program thing, but I want to make sure I realize. So I don't really need to go over, something else David Schwartz said as well about the Flare thing. Every single Flare that is dumped is moving from the hands of someone who doesn't want it and wouldn't buy it with their own money to someone who wants it enough to spend their own money to get it. That is good, 1,000%. Okay, so I remember when I shared this with Rob Christensen he was the first one, shout out to Rob, who shared the court documents submitted by Kirkland & Ellis, which is Celsius' law firm, to the court, Southern District of New York Bankruptcy Court. Good news, Celsius filed the proposed order authorizing the distribution of the Flare Network's airdrop to eligible account holders. Motion to be heard by the court January 24th, The docket number is 1819. I tried to search on cases Strato to try to find this thing myself, and I just couldn't find it. Maybe it's something that I'm doing wrong. So I wanted to share some very, very important things, all right, in this, right? So I have to remember page 12 and 13. Page 12 and 13 is important because it really shows like the sincerity of Kirkland Ellis and which our guy Deep Mind shared with us, the massive incentive by Celsius Network to want to get this to happen, right? Massive incentive. So let me go back here. All right, so there is notice of hearing on debtor's motion for entry of an order authorizing the debtors to credit Flare tokens to eligible account holders. So in typical crypto Twitter style, someone says, well, it says to credit, it doesn't say to receive, it says to credit, it doesn't say they're going to be able to withdraw. Just the typical crypto Twitter stuff, right? So let me go to some stuff. So I began digging into some more and trying to put my lawyer's cap on, my attorney cap, try to hold in and bring in some inner Jeremy Hogan and John Deaton and attorney Bill and Jimmy K. Filan, try to bring that in, put my woosah on and get some lawyer type stuff on, right? So this is what I read. It says here, relief requested. The debtor seeks entry of an order substantially in the form attached here too as Exhibit A, authorizing the debtors to credit Flare tokens to eligible customers, right? Eligible XRP, what does that say? Eligible customers accounts that held XRP tokens on the debtor's platform as of the XRP snapshot as defined therein, right? So now that's Exhibit A. He goes on, the law firm goes on to mention these Exhibit B's and C's. Okay, accordingly, the token distribution event is expected to occur on and around January 9th of 2023. The Flare statement is attached here too as Exhibit B. 15% of the total aggregate amount of Flare tokens to be airdropped will be airdropped on the token distribution event. The remainder will be airdropped over a minimum period of 25 months and a maximum of 34, which is really 36 months. All individuals holding XRP tokens on participating exchanges will be eligible for the airdrops. This is the part that threw me for the loop. The debtors are party to a grant agreement with Flare, attached here too as Exhibit C, whereby the debtors are to credit approximately 250 million Flare token to Celsius customers accounts holding XRP tokens in exchange for a grant of 150 million Flare tokens directly to the debtors. And you know, I've covered this on a couple or three live streams. I was like 150 million. What the world? What is a Flare grant? How did this all happen? What is that about? Was that before? Was that the agreement before for participating in the exchange? Where did all stuff come about? Like I had enough. What is that? 150 million Flare tokens? Well, there's this thing called the grants program that's been, I guess, been had since whenever. The Flare ecosystem support programs provides both financial and non-financial support to projects and entities within the Flare network community in order to accelerate the growth of the ecosystem. We will be awarding Flare and Songbird denominated grants each quarter across a variety of categories such as Builder 2s, projects and infrastructure supporting Flare network's growth. Grants are rewarded after the internal application and evaluation process. Builders can also attend our weekly whatever, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. So I read that. I'm like, all right, cool. So then I came across Crypto Eddie's video because, you know, got to make sure we get our Crypto Eddie on, right? So she did a video this morning and she ended the video with this, you know, interview that she had done some time ago. I think it was like a group of people part of some kind of interview or AMA, if you will. Take a listen to what Hugo is saying, not only about Panther protocol, but this grant program as well. Take a listen.
Yeah, absolutely. So Panther's using zero knowledge proofs to essentially create a shielded pool. What does that mean? That means lots of people can put tokens into the pool, and the pool is essentially external to the network. It then uses zero knowledge proofs essentially to allow you to come in and out of that pool without others being able to track that. So what does that let you do? When I say track that, I mean track exactly who has done that. So that pool can then trade on your behalf on DEXs and things like that without it being known who is doing that trading. It obviously requires a large number of people to go into that pool in order for there to be sufficient privacy as to which entity is exactly doing those transactions. But this is a very exciting application of zero knowledge proofs. Now, really importantly is that unlike some of the other privacy layers, they are incorporating compliance and KYC into that.
Compliance.
It is optional, but we think it's very important that if there's going to be privacy, and privacy is a fundamental right, that there is a way to prove that that entity or person who is doing the trading is compliant. So there can be lots of different variations. There can be uncompliant privacy pools, and that is entirely up to the individual. But for institutions, I think it's very important that they are able to transact with privacy whilst maintaining KYC and legal compliance. This creates a much greater likelihood that institutions will come to blockchain if they can trade, with privacy, because they don't want their positions to be revealed in real time, because it creates a disadvantage against others, against other market participants, especially if you're a large institution. So that's sort of what Panther are up to. I think it's very exciting. I'm a big believer in privacy. I think that it's an absolutely necessary prerequisite for blockchain to get global adoption.
Very valuable option.
Absolutely.
Good. Okay. Tell me about the Flare Grants program.
So the Flare Grants program is administered by the
Flare
Foundation, which is a Dutch entity, a non-profit, which holds a large amount of the Flare tokens. There's also a separate entity called Flare VC, which holds some tokens on behalf of the foundation, and will be investing those tokens. So as with the entire community, the foundation and Flare VCs and every Flare entity and all the team members' tokens are locked up, so that whatever we would be getting at 36 months, we only have 15% of on day one, like everyone else. Very important that we are completely in sync with the rest of the community. We do not want to be ahead of them, or any of that kind of stuff. So Flare Foundation has a certain supply, Flare VC has a certain supply. Flare Foundation is administering the grants program. Grants program, over many, many years, can have up to about 8% of the total network's tokens go into it. Not likely that anywhere near that amount, more likely a tenth of that amount would go into it in the near term, let's say the next 2 to 3 years. So relatively small amount of tokens to do certain things: strategic grants and community grants.
Strategic grants and community grants, or as Hugo like to say, grants, right? And so that's what that whole thing is about in this court order, in this court document, this motion submitted into court, right? The debtors are party to a grant agreement with Flare. So I don't know if it was strategic or community. My guess is it was community. And my guess is this was done in light of the Chapter 11 bankruptcy and the XRP account holders. The XRP account holders. That's why it was done, in my opinion. Because of the XRP account holders on Celsius Network. This was done. This was put into motion. Now, the reason why Celsius would agree to something like that is because they're going to get. Now, remember, the initial communication was from Celsius, according to Hugo, and according to the liaison from the Celsius UCC, which is the creditors committee. They had a liaison person working with, trying to communicate with Hugo. And so the people representing us in the bankruptcy had a person trying to communicate with Celsius and Flair to make something happen. It was just kind of going nowhere. So then all of a sudden this thing came up. So I don't know who put the wheels in motion to make it happen. My guess, it was the Flair Foundation. That's my guess. And the reason why Celsius would have a law firm that they're paying about $6 million a month of our money, creditors' money, to submit this, $6 million a month to submit this order is because Celsius Network is going to get 150 million Flair tokens, which kind of by default means that the estate will be getting 150 million Flair tokens, not Alex, not Nuke, the estate, right? And so, and the reason why I say this, besides our guy Deep Mind checking into the channel yesterday and confirming this thing, okay, this is kind of their argument. Basis for relief, the debtors may facilitate the total, this is kind of what will be arguing in court on the 24th. The debtors may facilitate the TDE in the ordinary course of business. Ordinary course of business is a Chapter 11 or bankruptcy thing, pursuant to section whatever of the Bankruptcy Code. I encourage you to read page 12 if you can get to it. And this is what I read. In making this determination, courts look to the debtor's pre-position business practices and conduct and compare them to the debtor's post-position conduct. This is all bankruptcy stuff. Before the Chapter 11 was filed and after the bankruptcy, Chapter 11 and or 7 was filed. Here, facilitating airdrops, this is Kirkland and Ellis making this argument. Here, facilitating airdrops to receive the Flair grant and generate customer goodwill. Whatever, dude. Here, facilitating airdrops to receive the Flair grant and generate customer goodwill satisfy both the horizontal and vertical tests. There are horizontal and vertical tests and ordinary business practices in bankruptcies like withdrawing and clawbacks and all this kind of stuff kind of wraps around this horizontal and vertical test of ordinary business. So facilitating the token distribution event satisfies the horizontal test. Airdrops are a common occurrence in the crypto industry, and exchanges such as Celsius often facilitate these airdrops. Accordingly, a crypto exchange would be reasonably expected to facilitate airdrops and receive part of the airdrop. Thus, the horizontal test is satisfied here. With regard to the vertical test, a hypothetical reasonable account holder would likely see no material change in its exposure to economic risk in connection with the debtors facilitating the token distribution event, right? So this is that, and I'll read it again. That is about the objection process that is going on until the 17th. Right? They want to cover that, if the UCC might object, if the for some odd reason, the people representing the unsecured creditors, right? This is kind of covering that the examiner might object to it, right? Or some independent person who's got some their own attorney type thing might object it, right? So with regard to the vertical test, a hypothetical reasonable account holder would likely see no material change in its exposure to economic risk in connection with the debtor's facilitating of the token distribution event. Rather, eligible customers would benefit by receiving Flare tokens. That is a pre-petition account holder would reasonably expect and likely prefer that the debtors continue their pre-petition practice in this regard on a post-petition basis. In other words, if they hadn't filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy and didn't go insolvent, they would have been the facilitator of the airdrop and they would have given it to the eligible account holders. So that is a pre-petition account holder would reasonably expect and likely prefer that the debtors continue their pre-petition practice in this regard on a post-petition basis. Thus, it is likely that a reasonable account holder would negatively view the debtors halting the facilitation of the airdrops. In other words, people will be really, really upset, and it's all over crypto Twitter right now, that they're not going to get their airdrop. And some people believe that these Flare tokens are just going to go to the founders, that kind of stuff, right? So thus it is likely that a reasonable account holder would negatively view the debtors halting facilitation of airdrops. The debtors would, in essence, be passing on a potentially valuable asset source that does not require any remuneration, like refiguring out who owns what, stuff like that. Asset does not require that remuneration other than offering the token distribution event to eligible customers. Honoring the Flare agreement and facilitating this airdrop aligns with the debtor's pre-petition business practices as reflected in the debtor's terms of use. So again, right, most attorneys get this. I'm surprised that John Deaton did not respond with a comment or anything about this because it does concern XRP holders, but he did not. I tagged him. He just said a crypto law came across something, and I guess he didn't have time to go through this. So, but we did have Deep Mind come in and share his 2, 3, and 4, and 5 cents on it, and this is a potential windfall for the estate in this Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which is a potential windfall for unsecured creditors, right? Because this, again, is something that is going to go to the estate, and I think they say it here. Facilitating the Flare airdrop is a sound exercise of the debtor's business judgment and is in the best interest of their estates. Facilitating the Flare airdrop to eligible customers accounts as a sound exercise of the debtor's business judgment and is in the best interest of their estates and all stakeholders. In addition, the debtor's execution of the Flare airdrop will entitle the debtors to 150 million Flare tokens, bringing potentially valuable assets into the debtor's estates and maximizing stakeholder recovery. Accordingly, the debtors seek to honor the Flare airdrop under sections blank, blank, blank of the bankruptcy code. So there it is, guys. I wanted to share that with you. I think this is obviously I talked about this from the way in the beginning, right? That I believed, from the beginning that Hugo and the team were going to find a way to honor the XRP account holders who, by no fault of their own, were going to be harmed in some kind of way. And this appears to be the foundation's way of doing it. And I'm very, very excited about it. And I think that a lot of XRP holders should be saying thank you. And a lot of unsecured creditors will be saying thank you that aren't even XRP holders, because now the estate will have, once this passes, and I get that it's an if, but I do believe it is going to be passed. It's going to give the estate, the unsecured creditors who've been harmed by the madness, right? This 150 million Flare tokens. What do you think? Do you think somewhere along the line is going to be valuable? I do. And again, this whole estate thing, right? This can go on for a period of time. This can go on for years. Really, it could go on for 4 years. And anything going into the estate is in the estate. It is not going to individuals, corporate people, Alex, whatever, Nuke, Daniel Leon. No, it's not going to them. That 150 is going into the estate. And who knows? Maybe one day Flare token reaches $1. Who knows? Right? Who knows? And 150 million can go, you know, a pretty long way. So in any case, there it is. I wanted to share that with you guys. I hope it has been of a value to you. This was my XRP Ripple daily news in around 0 to 10 minutes times 4. But I hope, again, it has been of value to you. If it has, do me a favor, hit that like button. And don't, if you enjoyed the hangout, please strongly consider subscribing to the channel, so that you know whenever we go live, and ring that notification bell so you know whenever we go live or whenever we upload a video. I'm going to end this one like I do all my videos and remind you guys of this.
Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather that we remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating? Or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know. That the battle for you has already been fought. And the victory is yours. Go get it.